Hey, what's up, YouTube? You probably won't see this video at any point close to when I've actually made it. So hopefully at this time, the discourse around what I'm about to talk about doesn't roll itself over into an actual point of contention, probably somewhere on a panel of some shit, that thing. But if you're new here, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified. I'm trying to draw this out because I don't want to be exactly like, down to the factual and bad, like, hey, I'm the paradigm shift and I'm here to give you your internet news of the day. Da, 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 da. This is going to be a topic about the streamer named Destiny, and yet again another one of his takes in which his viewers, his orbiters, his chat, his existence, his community just kind of piled down on, and I don't like it. I don't like it. As I did with that girl who was hired. I feel it fade. That's a good transition. That's our transition. We should put that as a stinger for every transition. Every time I hit the fade, I feel it fade, fade, fade. This person tweeted in response to a tweet. Now, yes, it's a fucking tweet. I get it. I cover tweets a lot. You could stop typing that. The problem is that when I tell y'all I go on the street and ask people these questions, the responses are in line with this. Money management is so much more important than making money. Financial literacy and money management are ploys to get people to blame themselves for poverty instead of the companies that exploit them. She muted the replies. There's no use in arguing with me in the quotes. You're all wrong. I'm right. Thanks. Exactly. Because what financial literacy and money management do you have to offer someone who makes minimum wage to alleviate them? Or do you have to offer someone making minimum wage to alleviate them? People who made $200 off of Dogecoin going to be mad as fuck at this. But you're going to see that you're going to. And my non-binary, genderqueer, pansexual, Latinx plus, LGBTQIA plus, neurodivergent, heteroromantic, polyamorous human being, the omniliberal, also known as the legend, the myth, the guy who creates the political discourse for the left. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the same thing as a video game released twice by a beautiful company that refuses to actually update their game into something important. Destiny, 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 Destiny. Destiny retweeted and said Jesus. But that isn't enough to get Paradigm to pay attention to it, right? What would ever cause me to take a deeper look at this? This has to be bait. Please, God, be bait. Life gets better when you expect less. Now, to be honest, that was a fire meme. I stole a bunch of memes off this because, they be hitting, but they be hitting in the wrong direction when they post them. I make $50K and I took out a loan for $100,000 car. $100,000 car. I'm so oppressed. Diagnosis: profound mental retardation. Health culture is just a ploy to get people to blame themselves instead of the food companies that exploit them. All the people who like this have never had to worry about money. This motherfucker came on. This motherfucker came. Yo. Oh, you're a dickhead. Hold on. Chat. Tell me that comment right there. Tell me that reply. If I framed it right, all the people who like this have never had to worry about money. Tell me that's not talking about Destiny's tweet and not the tweet behind it. Right? It makes sense that would be a reply to that tweet, right? It's crazy because this motherfucker was on my shit. So I retweeted and I was like, not only did you miss the point, but the point was delivered from a poor person's perspective, which of course you ain't catch on to. Leo's a solid ass tweeter. But the same dude, we're gonna go into that because that's part of the explanation of what I want to talk about today. But this dude was like, the same dude, miss my life before I started streaming.
How did I end up cleaning carpets? I used to supervise in a restaurant, and I got fucking fired for the most ridiculous bullshit. That's kind of when my life fell apart.
Why'd you get fired?
Because I tried to help another employee. It's fucking stupid. The manager fucking hated me. She was a fucking bitch
Tell
ass.
the story.
He's gonna get mad,
but
I get angry.
go for it.
That's okay.
I worked at fuck, what happened? I don't know. I got married and blah blah blah. I was working at a casino. They offered me to supervise the night shift, which is like fucking suicide. Like nobody can do it because it's stressful as fuck. The employees suck.
Whatever, he states a story about like how his life was terrible. He worked a part-time job and everybody sucked. Blah blah blah. My thing is that this was in May of 2016. And people were like, this video brings out a bunch of emotion in me. I imagine they fired you because telling someone they're going to be fired if they miss a shift, they'll scratch for lawsuits and expect you to dance in the issue and make implications by saying she'd be fucked. You're pretty much confirming that she'd be fired, which makes the company vulnerable. So you don't take the hit as the fall guy. The fact that you said fucked was a smokescreen for HR to dance around. Whatever this video is about, blah blah blah. So May 16th, 2016, I said, he turned his back on this ideology. Do you think I don't know this exists? Because I've watched this already. And that's why I didn't know who Destiny was, because this was my interpretation of Destiny at the time. And I swear to God, this was 2016. I was just getting into poetry again. I was getting back into teaching full time, et cetera, et cetera. He's not criticizing it because he can't understand a poor person's perspective. He's criticizing it because the calling financial literacy a ploy is moronic. Financial literacy is one of the most important things you can learn to improve your life. But if you're poor, financial literacy can't work. That's why investments are lost on minimum wage workers. What? Financial literacy, he corrected himself. Financial literacy isn't just about investing. You learn budgeting, you learn how to make sound financial decisions, how to use credit cards wisely. When I was working minimum wage, although I didn't have any dependents, I was able to save some of my wages for my goals. Here we go. Which threw me into a fucking loop. I'm gonna say this with my chair up because that was getting weird for a second. I was really fucking low. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your crash course in financial literacy and how fucking stupid it is to apply that to somebody who has been living under the poverty line their entire lives. I asked my dad. Now, you're going to sit there and say immediately, this is anecdotal evidence. Now, I'm going to obviously have the facts to back this up, but I'm not going to sit here and torture you with the links to that because I know you know how to use Google. So if at this point you disagree with me because you don't know the information, which is going to force you to take this video and say, well, I want to prove him wrong. So I'm going to look up the stats on what type of races, what type of income levels use credit cards and debit cards and know about investments. And when you find out the information actually falls in line exactly with this one story I'm going to tell you, I want you to sit there and look at yourself and say, did I really want to hate on this man because he spoke a point that was against my favorite streamer and I hated him for it? Or did he actually say something that he cares about and maybe I should take a deeper look into it because he wouldn't have made a segment about it if he didn't care about it and didn't have an actual real world proof of the existence of this? Fuck you. Like, I don't know what you want from me. Posture check. Say less. Say fucking less. Bet we in strongman mode. Hold on. I'm gonna pull away from the mic real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, the rate is, financial literacy does not matter to a poor person, a person addicted to drugs, a person in recovery, a person in relapse. Financial literacy does not matter to a single person who is living odds to ends, paycheck to paycheck, in an environment to which they can't exist, but they needed the job. Therefore, they needed someplace to live closer to them and live literally dollar to dollar on their paycheck because their rent is too expensive. Financial literacy does not matter to a 67-year-old person who literally cannot function on the internet without a young person's help. Financial literacy does not matter to somebody who has been able to escape the threat of needing to owe somebody with credit to rent things that they didn't have the money for when they've only used a debit card their entire lives because they only work on the money that they have. Financial literacy does not matter to somebody with a child. Financial literacy almost doesn't exist for people who have pets, but that's a different argument for a different day. See, I could be quiet with this. I could be nice and generous and loving with you, but I refuse to do that. I had to back away from the camera for the first time on this broadcast with this angle just to explain this to you. You are not ready for this conversation on why you say I've brought all this up, and you said, why? Well, why is it? Because they live within means that financial literacy doesn't support. You cannot save money if the money you have at the end of whatever income you receive is less than necessary to enjoy life. Saving $20 a week because you eat ramen noodles for 4 weeks will not get you anything with the $80 that you end up with at the end of the month if the cost of going out for a night just to enjoy yourself is $123. Move to a different city, get me a job there. Live within your means, rent went up. Healthcare costs went up. Oh, you forgot they were mixing up the COVID symptoms. So when you come in with a disability or an affliction that is caused by long COVID, they don't know how to solve that in the free healthcare department. You got to pay out of pocket for that. You make too much money to be on Obamacare. You remember that one, right? The one you hated. You create these economies for people who never entered them, and you want to say, I'm going to teach you how to do it. And then what? Raise the wages, though. You're causing a problem where people can be educated on how to spend their money smartly and still fail. And if they fail, that's death. And I'm not being fucking hyperbolic here. I've watched my homies on the street die. And this is going to go into a whole nother segment on how y'all don't ever listen to black people because they seem to have like the wildest stories and you can't fathom the world being that way. Why the fuck would my 68-year-old dad ever want to open a fucking credit card? What means do we live in? What means do we work with that would allow us to even think about credit? My chatter just ate food. I was begging them to eat food. That's where we're at. Financial literacy isn't a point of reference that you can use to explain to people why they are poor, because there is another layer that needs to be expanded upon, and that is the wage labor system that we live under, that every single goddamn legal company lives off of. Is this too much for you? Can you not handle this being brought to you by a Twitch streamer? Well, surprise, I'm changing the fucking paradigm here. That take from his entire chat is dog shit because you're excusing people who pay you the minimum. $15 isn't even a livable wage. $15 isn't a livable wage. So we're not talking at this point. Just kill the poor people is what I'm getting from you. Because you clearly couldn't understand where that tweet was coming from. Those are tools used to subjugate people from asking their fucking employers for more money. That fight, if you were better with your money, you wouldn't be like, you would have access to more ways to create revenue. Why the fuck is it every citizen in the United States needs to have 4 or 5 sources of revenue? Who's buying the shit that we are creating? Small businesses, get the fuck out of here. Amazon can literally do everything that your dumbass can do within 10 minutes and have it to my door in 2 minutes. You want me to support small businesses for the sake of supporting the idea of people creating things? If I don't want to support the big corporations, you forgot that I was poor. Where's the financial literacy in that? I'm doing what you want me to do. Spend the less money where the less money is concentrated to get as much as I need to. Save the rest. Either do it in investments or budget in a way where I don't spend over the money and I have money left over at the end of the month. But if I'm living paycheck to paycheck in a poor environment where I need food, I haven't even talked about fucking food yet, where I need food for me, my children, my pets, the surgery comes up, game over. If the idea is to save up enough money, that way I have enough for a trip to the emergency room, then what the fuck does financial literacy matter? All of us talking from our privileged positions. You know, me personally, I love the fact that I stream. I really do. I really do. But I'm getting to a point where I'm not able to do this sustainably. Now I have to ask my chat, hey, donate, tip, blah, 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 because I'm not making enough money within the off season of wedding season. Where's my financial literacy? I saved up the money. It's dry season. I've done the thing. I invested. I made some money off of it. Oh, but I can't be creative. You should be finding more ways to spend that money. Just tell me you don't like poor people. Can we skip the subterfuge? So Destiny's take on it is specifically alienating the idea of a poor person's perspective, because you can't fathom why somebody would come out and say that those are tools used by the top class to explain why you yourself haven't risen yourself out of poverty. If a job, the fucking memes, Target is paying $24 an hour. I'm about to apply to fucking Target. Hell yeah, that's decent. I could do something with 20. I do not mind selling my labor at the price that I normally work at for a wedding, which is $50, $75, $100 an hour, $200, $300 an hour. You telling me there's a job right down the street that I could work at where they paying so I could take a part-time, cash out on that 4 hours a day? I stream here. I ain't got to talk to them about subs, never. I don't got to encroach upon poor people's pockets, bars, to get to that point. Where's the financial literacy in that, dickhead? I was going to make this whole thing about showing you all the facts of how financial literacy is literally used by moguls and motivational speakers to get you on this pathway to growing and growing. We live in a capitalist society. It is all a competition. There's no way you can rationalize. There is no way you can rationalize the identity of a poor person to exist with the knowledge of what the rich, or even just well enough to do that they're not considerably concerned with money. There is no way you can exchange that information and not see the barrier that is the physical amount of money you have in the bank. There is no amount of financial literacy teaching that could ever get the marginal amount of people existing within that frame to move forward. And if you say, well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those specific people who are able to complain about it, knowing damn well that they're poor or that they don't have a lot of money in the bank because they spend their money on this and that, blah, blah, blah. That's part of the thing. Is that you're conflating these people who have those margins to spend it on dumb shit while you're ignoring people who have the same margins, but their cost of living is just that much higher that they don't even get that luxury. You got to think about things from a poor person's perspective. Why would I need credit? Why would I care about investments? I am literally living with $50 to my name between each day, between each week, between each month. And if you say, well, then you must be doing something wrong with your money, get a better job. Thank you. You sound like a Republican now. I appreciate your time and patience. If you like this video, please do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. I like Destiny for sometimes when he being passionate and he really get the point. But other than that, fuck him.